Hi there, please introduce yourself.
Ciao Alessandro, my name is Frank Salzgeber. I'm Head of Innovation and Ventures at the European Space Agency, ESA.
What is your definition of new space, Frank?
Yeah, I think in new space, when you look at, some people say it's not so new anymore because space is everything when you go the next step. But in principle, I think we have two routes. Everything which goes up, that means new launchers, rockets, PLDs, aerospace, Orbix, of course, SpaceX, but also the entire constellation what we have. So I would say the infrastructure part, including the ground stations. And the other thing is what you do with these new technologies, which is already in three layers, where you say you have navigation, that's everything what is about positioning. You have telecommunication, which is not so new because it's just a dish on our roof where we get our satellite programs, which is moving more and more to more Internet of Things, 5G. And of course, since more than a decade, Earth observation, which we know from the past from the weather forecasts, the weather satellites. However, now with the fleet of new satellites coming up, the nano satellites, the small satellites, which defines really a new downstream market. So as I said, two ways. One is the infrastructure, and the big part, which is sometimes underestimated, is really the usage of space technology, data, and services, which is provided by more and more companies than in the past.
And what is the current outlook of the new space ecosystem, in particular Europe?
I think Europe is gifted with great engineers. Yeah? We're not working only at Europe, we're working with our Russian colleagues, we work with Skolkovo Tech, we have to increase our collaboration. We work with Rosnano. We work, of course, with all the member states within the ESA member states abroad, but also with NASA, but also with JAXA or the Canadian Space Agency associated member states. So when we're looking to Europe, I think Europe has several launcher projects, several micro satellite projects, but really amazing startups also really related to opportunities and services from space. Could be everything which flies, drives, and ships autonomously is based on space technology. And of course, the Earth observation market field, where the future might be more the platform idea that I don't have to buy a satellite. I just need that satellite into a development database and I write my programming or program algorithm on it and I got the results. So I think these one-to-one, which we had in the past, should be long gone. It's end-to-end application. And when you have your cell phone or whatever, that means you're using space data every day.
And do you think there is a common strategy for European new space? And how do new space efforts in Europe compare to the rest of the world?
I think Europe is doing very well. Maybe what we in Europe are not so much, and I was working for Apple until 2000 and had my own startup company. Maybe we can do a little bit better marketing. I think the startups we have in Europe have great teams for better salaries or in terms of investment. So they are not so expensive than you want to have an engineer in the United States, in California. So better evaluation, smarter technologies. And therefore, I think the opportunity, if you want to do new space, the best place to invest is at the moment Europe, nowhere else in the world. We have great universities, great technology, great business cases. And one of the example is Clear Space, which is a company from Switzerland, which just got a big contract where Clear Space is the prime and not Airbus. And I think it's around 140 million contract to remove all the space debris. And this, I think, is a good sign to see that also space is moving quick. Maybe we are not so loud in the storytelling, and this we can improve. But I think the solid is the best in the world.
And what do you think are the most pressing challenges for European new space in the next, let's say, 3 to 10 years?
In general, when you're looking at the growth is always an issue. And I take that always the example of a graph, that in the American model is first growth and then revenues, pumping money into the system. Facebook was done like that. Google was done like first you grow, with the customers, and then later you make the revenue. That means the growth curve is going like this. The rest of the world is like this. It calls we have first revenues and then customers. And I think between these curves, there's something between, which is called the Frank model, which is built on cooperation. Our companies have a problem when they raise 50, 100 million. 1 million is not an issue for a good startup. 10 million also management. But when you maybe make a launcher and you need 300, 400 million, then it's an issue. In our network, we have one company called Lilium Aviation. They raised, I think, around 400 million and have a 1 billion euro evaluation. And they make a kind of flying taxi. And they also joined our program, or we were happy to support them in the early beginning. And I think this is the problem companies face. It's a later stage financing, which is not so easy to find in Europe. If you're looking for ticket sizes of 200-300 million, that's pretty tough. Before, until the 50 million, I said that's doable. And I think this is a challenge. And if we do not solve that, then our companies have problem to grow really to national unicorns or international unicorns.
And what do you think is the role of the European Space Agency or any, let's say, institution into fostering private ventures?
I do not know what the other institutions are doing, but the good thing is ESA is a technical agency. We help the companies not only by our funding, and we do procurement contracts. We know also what we're talking about. And this is not only the business, the technology, but also the business model. And it's the network. So in our organization, in our group, we support about 100 business cases in about 220 startups a year, which is not so bad, deep tech startups. This policy is adopted by several countries already, some other organizations. Our job is to de-risk in an area before the VCs really go into it. There's a reason why I'm sitting on the board of the European Business Angel Network related to space. This is why we work with venture capital companies and funds together, because we can take more risk in an area where it's very early stage. And I think this is our job. But our job is not to keep the kids at home until they are 30. We all know that's bad. So if you want to have kids which are self-standing on their own feet, you have to kick them out. And that's the same with startups. So we give them love, we give them support, but we say we can only increase the likelihood of your success. It's not our job to nanny you until you go retirement. That's bad, because when you do that, you create zombie companies. And zombie companies are companies which have enough runway for the next R&D project, but without that funding, they die. So that's not our job. So we have to let them run. And if we do everything fine, we get our Christmas, Hanukkah, or Ramadan card, and we have done a good job.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank. This has been very insightful.
Thank you for sharing the time with me. And if you have more questions, look to business applications, space solution, ESA BIX. We are here, as I said, the nice uncle, to support these new ideas, the crazy ones, and helping them to make your dreams fly. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye-bye.